If you think we're crazy for crossing the Atlantic, wait till you meet our friends. They're crossing the Atlantic at something slightly different.
We're going on a bit of a dinghy adventure today. We haven't put the big 15 horse on the back of our dinghy since New York City, which was 3 months ago. So it should be fun. We've been ripping around the little Torpedo and tying up to public docks and stuff for the past 3 months. So I hope it starts. Sue, you will. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do this.
Oh my God.
All the way up, I think. My name's Billy Taylor. I live on the south coast of the UK.
My name is Alex Mason and I'm from Salisbury in England.
I'm John Haskell. I'm from Wales. Next is a big country next to that little village called England.
Next year we'll be taking this lovely ocean rowing boat across 2 oceans, the Atlantic and the Indian.
A few years ago I came across an old wooden boat in Swansea Museum, Maritime Museum, again in Wales, and it enthralled me. I love the ocean. I've grown up on the ocean. And the timing was just perfect, and I saw it on the Ocean Row website and just applied. And funny enough, I was already friends with Billy on Facebook because he'd asked a few rowing questions after my row and said, look, can I be shortlisted for this? And it was like, oh, don't worry, we know who you are, we were going to ask you anyway.
I did a lot of sailing when I was a kid, and then it really started off. A good friend of mine was diagnosed with young onset Parkinson's disease, and we wanted to do something that would raise awareness, especially of Parkinson's, because there's a lot of people that have Parkinson's. Not many people have the faintest idea what it's like to live with it, and it's a harsh condition. I crossed the Pacific from California to Hawaii in 2014, and then last year I rode from Australia to Mauritius, and we had a guy with young onset Parkinson's as part of the crew then. So all the data went back to Brookes University in Oxford. It came back with such positive results that they asked us to do another one.
I'm not much of an ocean goer. I've not really done anything on the ocean before, but I've done a lot of long distance hiking, cycle touring, and so I like those types of adventures. It's not something I've wanted to do forever. It's not a fulfillment of a lifelong dream, but it's something different, and I'm all about doing something a bit different.
Leaving Lanzarote in January, rowing about 3,400 miles over to Antigua. Then we get to Antigua, we ship the boat directly to Australia, and then we'll be leaving from Western Australia, probably Geraldton, and then covering about 5,500 miles from Geraldton over to Mombasa.
We're going to be the first people to cross from mainland Australia to mainland Africa, so that's not been done before. It's a long way, it's about 5,000 miles, so it's going to be a big challenge. And then we believe that I'll be the first female to row 2 oceans in 1 calendar year. Yeah, which is quite cool.
I mean, it's a world record.
Yeah, it's not the reason I'm doing it at all. It's just like a nice side, thing that I get out of it. The first step is always the hardest. So actually saying you're going to do something or committing to do it is often the hardest part. And as soon as I started talking about it and telling people, like, I want to do this, I think I'm going to do it, it kind of snowballed from there, really. And I think it makes it a lot easier. So you get it out of your head and tell people. And then if there are any obstacles you think they're in the way, you will overcome them. Like, things will just work themselves out.
It's an amazing experience. You're really so close to the water. There's no engine, so there's no noise, and it's just it's a beautiful, beautiful place to do, you know, sunrises, sunsets. We saw lots of marine life, so whales, terns, dolphins, flying fish all over the place.
You still experience the vastness around you, and I don't think I've ever been in an experience before where I've not seen land. So even just in the English Channel, just seeing water all around you, it was just amazing. You just think, I am out here and there's nobody else out here.
The nature moving you, you know, I know you're doing manpower rowing, but you're so close to the ocean, you know, the boat, you're one with the element. And I'm a big one for that, you know, just being out there in the elements, and if it's a storm, you know, it's exhilarating because there's a storm. What if it's a nice day? It's exhilarating because the sunsets and the sunrises are great. Like, so it's just the whole package, you know.
Yeah. I can be in the cabin. Does the cabin open? Yeah. That'll be perfect.
Well, Keegan just hopped on board to go get some audio, some nice clean audio without the dinghy motor in the background. And so they're just rowing off into the sunset, and I'm just gonna hang out in the dinghy and not mess up their audio with the loud dinghy motor sounds. So, bye. Just gonna hang out and drink some coffee. You got the chart plotter, all the navigational equipment, auto helm, desalinator, we've got hydrogen fuel cell, solar panels will be on here as well. So it's pretty much a yacht without a mast.
Our rudder at the moment is down in the cabin. It will be moved to the back of the boat. So for now we just have to operate it manually.
And what do you use?
What do I use? My foot and a spanner. I mean, we have all the mod cons on this boat.
A work in progress, right?
Absolutely. It'll be fine when we leave.
So everything we need for a safe and successful crossing we have to take with us when we leave. So completely unsupported. There's a good tagline about the people closest to us are going to be the ones in the space station for a large percent of the time we're on the water. So, you know, stuff for spares, the tools that we need to carry out any repairs, all the food that we need, medical equipment, safety equipment, everything has to be on the boat.
People think, oh, it's a selfish, dangerous thing to be going off doing, but yeah, it's fully risk assessed. There's life jackets. We've got a jack stay, so we can clip in if the weather's a bit rough. If it's too rough, we lock ourselves in here. We'll have a 4-man life raft. Without being dramatic, like a life jacket's not going to do you a lot of good if you're not near the boat. You're just going to bob around for a few days till sharks get you or whatever. Anyway, so the thing is to do is not leave the boat. You know, we'd be clipped in, we'd be in the cabin, and literally stay with the boat because it is your lifeline. But yeah, you have to be responsible for your own safety, and you make those calls. And like you know, especially with sailing, sometimes a life jacket can be more of a hindrance. So you're better off not wearing it, but keep in the boat.
Getting mentally prepared, the most challenging thing?
I don't know if you can actually mentally prepare yourself for it. As long as you get on, as long as the crew's got humour and everyone's got the same motivation behind it, we're not racing, we're just trying to get across. It's an amazing place to be out there, so unless you're stuck in the cabin because the weather's bad, it's just really pleasurable. I think you have to be a certain type of person to want to do it, so everyone has the same kind of mindset. It is hard work, don't get me wrong, but I'd say it's 90% mental and 10% physical. As long as you can get up every 2 hours and row for 2 hours, eventually you're going to get across. It doesn't really matter. You're going to follow the currents and the winds, you're going to make it across. But it's the psychological side of stuff that can be quite tough, because you can't get off. It's not like you can just say, right, I've had enough of this, I'm jacking.
You'll finish a shift, boil some water up, have a little wash, a wet wipe down, baby wipes. By then your food will be ready, so you'll eat that as quick as you can, and then just lie down, have a sleep for 90 minutes, and then back up again 12 times a day for 100 days. Yeah.
And it's crazy because we're used to, even on small boats, we're used to having a berth and a galley and a head, but this space is basically everything.
This is it, this is it. And to be honest, it is all you need, It does teach you that, fair enough. It's like you just make do, and anything else then is just extra, and it's just like great. The first couple of days is horrific because you know what's ahead of you, but then the shift, every 2 hours you shift, you tick them off, and it goes past, and before you know it, you're 3 weeks in, and 4 weeks in, and before you know it, you're 6 weeks in, and then before you know, you're a week away from your family and dry land again. So it goes.
If you can talk, we talk a lot about food, because obviously we've only got 7 or 8 different variations of meal, and we eat 5 meals a day, so it becomes pretty boring pretty quickly, nothing fresh. So you talk about how would you build your favourite burger. You spend about 80% of your time talking about food, actually.
Everybody's just so different and diverse, but there's a little spark between us all, and it's going to work out really well, yeah.
You just learn as you go along. I'll learn a lot when I'm out there, definitely. When you're put in that situation, you've got no choice. You have to learn. But I enjoy that. It makes you feel like quite alive when you're learning new things all the time. You think, yeah, I've just learned a new skill, that's great. When you're kind of stagnant, not doing anything, is where your mind just starts to crumble a bit, I think. But when you're constantly having to be alert and learn all these new skills, then yeah, it feels really good.
So you've done enough behind the camera now. I think it's maybe the opportunity for you guys to get on the oars. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Awesome. Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm about to learn how to row. Oars in.
Use your legs. Push, push, push. That's it. Use your legs. When your legs are fully extended, then use your arms, and then reverse it. So now push. That's it. That's it. And that's rowing. You got it. Boom.
And I'll try to like match you.
Yeah.
Slow and smooth.
One gentle moment takes me way back home.
Yeah, we are rowing.
Weird to just go backwards.
One gentle moment takes me way back home.
Apparently we got in trouble with the police here because we drifted in the middle of the channel as the ferry was going by and sailboats were going by and other boats were going by.
And we were stuck in the tide and the current.
Yeah, and so the current was pushing us out, and so we were trying to row, and we're kind of new at this, so rowing against the current is not really our strongest point.
He said the figurehead on the boat is a bit rubbish. So the ferry captain was panicking, he thought we were a bit close. But I was on Channel 11 and he's giving them a bollocking for us. But it was fine, we were miles away, just a bit of drama on the high seas.
I think we got in trouble.
Yeah.
So Alex is in control of where we're going.
No, she's texting.
Oh, is she now?
Oh, she texted. Okay, I'm thinking.
One gentle moment takes me way back home.
We're quite privileged to have the boat and be able to take part in this and do the stuff we're doing, and we just want to share that with as many people as possible.
When we do public shows and stuff like the Southampton boat show was a big one. We put a sign up and just offer, if anybody wants to make a charity donation, they can come and sign our cabin. So like, especially the Parkinson's, the angle with that. A lot of people, my gran died of Parkinson's sadly or something, so they've written little messages and tributes so they can follow us and know that a part of them is crossing with us, and they can have a look on the website where they are and think, oh, my name's on that boat. It just makes people feel a part of it,
Yeah, and I bet it makes you feel almost connected as well.
Yeah, and again, I'm trying not to read them because I'm going to just read a section at a time. Because when you're fed up and you're away from home and when you're tired, and it'll be nice to read the messages and just get a little bit of support.
Hopefully we'll be able to inspire a few people, hopefully we'll be able to spread the message, and the awareness of Parkinson's disease and PTSD. Hopefully we'll be able to increase that by what we're doing, and just give people the kind of boost that all of this needs, really.
You know, we have a lot of people say, oh, I'd love to do that. Well, do it, because one day you're not going to be able to, and time goes by quick in your life. If anybody out there is looking to do an ocean row, get in touch with anybody and just do it. It's not as hard as you think to set up.
High five to that. That was so much fun today too.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great to be out on the boat.
And yeah, we'll hang out.
It was good.
Here.
It was productive and fun. It was a
Well, that was a pretty freaking good time.
So much fun. It's so cool to see how similar our mentality in terms of sailing and rowing is. Because for one, just like Alex said, you just have to, get out of your comfort zone to do it. And a lot of people who start sailing kind of have the same mentality. And just being driven by nature and be able to appreciate the tiniest little things is just absolutely amazing.
I think the biggest difference is that we have sails and they have oars.
Yeah.
So everything else is about the same. Water maker, inverter, solar panels, GPS, like all that stuff they have. And we have, but the biggest difference I think is that our sails are our engine and they're just manually rowing is their engine.
But it's such an inspiring story, guys. If you don't know about them, definitely look them up. Now we'll leave all of their links in the description below. And and hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up. And we'll see you guys in our next one. Cheers.
Cheers.
And then we left the dinghy behind.